Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. All right guys, today is Get Ready With Me Day and we have a new shade of the month for June. And I am so excited because I'll be honest, we've been waiting for this shade to come back for, oh gosh, probably over a year, maybe. I know it made an appearance at Christmas and sold out so quickly that not very many people got their hands on it. So it's back. I'm gonna use it as our inspiration for a little summertime Get Ready With Me today. If you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. All right, friends, so literally, it just released. I ordered more to stock up. My DMs were going crazy. People were like, how many do you order? And I was like, well, I technically have like numerous ones in my compact because you guys ask me all the time, what's that pretty one? And I'm like, oh, I can't. It's always in my compact, but I'll be honest, I don't wear it if I know I'm going to be ever taking a picture, because y'all are going to ask me, what are you wearing? And I'm never going to wear something that you guys cannot actually get for yourself. That's just mean, right? So I do wear it when I'm just putting on my makeup for the day and not creating content of any kind. So it's always in my compact. But yes, I did. I had a backup, but I ordered a few more. So get it while you can. It is Sunshine State, if I did not say that already. So this is going to be our inspiration for today's look. I'm going to do some comparison swatches, and we're going to do just I don't know. I feel like this shade just screams glowy summer bronzy look. I don't know if it's because of the shimmer in it. Oh, it's just so pretty. Like, you can't not love this shade. I don't know if I have anyone that doesn't love it. I don't know. Anyone that likes a glow to their skin will love it. Absolutely, without a doubt in my mind, you will love it. Now, if you are a matte girl through and through, like you want a full matte finish on your face, then you might not like it. Granted, you don't ever see me do that look because I'm the opposite. Give me all the glow. In fact, I started my makeup trying a new product today. You guys know my love for glow screen. So this is like 9 times out of 10. If you ask me what sunscreen I'm wearing, it's this. It gives that luminosity under your makeup like no other. If you don't like a dewy finish, I don't recommend it. If you have an issue with pores, I don't recommend it. Anything that's going to reflect light on your skin is going to show texture more so. But to me, that youthful glow is totally worth any pores you might see. Pores are skin. I mean, it's just skin texture. There's nothing ugly about pores. I know they have such a bad rap, but truly, I would take pores any day as long as my skin is glowing. I feel like all over matte finish ages me far more so than a little bit of pores. So if you do like maybe if you have oily skin or you just have issue with pores in certain areas, you can use more than one sunscreen. A really great hack is just using something like this on areas of your face that you want to glow, and then using a sunscreen with a more matte finish or maybe a less dewy finish on those areas that you don't. So if you're wanting to kind of camouflage maybe this area, use a matte sunscreen there, matte primer or moisturizer that's going to kind of dry down to more of a matte finish. And then you can add the glow. Really, main areas we want is right here, I'd say. If you're going to put it anywhere, stick to right there. Something about this area, when it is glowing, your skin looks more youthful, for sure. And with Seint creams, they're automatically going to give you that luminosity to your skin, but this just adds a little bit more. So good, so good. I know so many of you guys love it. So if you don't know, they just released a new color. Anyway, I'm so excited. So the original, I think they're calling it Champagne. This is the original, and I'll kind of just show you guys because I know you guys are gonna ask me. The original was a slight tint, but do you see that it has more of that champagne shimmer in it? And these aren't like sparkles. I don't feel like it's like a heavy shimmer by any means, but it does give, like, that is literally all I'm wearing on my face. I'm wearing the new Golden Hour. Okay, so the new one is Golden Hour. Same ingredients, same everything, just a deeper color. And it's more of a bronzy. I was afraid it was gonna be too dark, but really, I feel like this on my skin tone, the Champagne, didn't really give me coverage of any kind. Yes, it looks tinted, which is great because it won't give a white cast. But this one I was like, oh gosh, that looks dark. But when you blend it in on me, my face didn't get any really darker, maybe a little bit. I feel like it just was almost like using a couple bronzing drops maybe like in your moisturizer. I don't know if you've ever tried that. And you see it's more of a bronzy shimmer. I feel like this one almost has, I feel a little bit less shimmery actually. I don't know if it was because it's more of a bronze shimmer and this is a champagne shimmer, which a lighter shimmer is going to reflect light more so than a darker one, if that makes sense. So I'm wearing Golden Hour, in case you were wondering. Love it so far. I really have no complaints, but I would say if you are fair, stick with the Champagne for sure. This one might pull you a little too warm. I feel like it's almost gonna give an effect like when I use Bella and Glow as my first step, as my base before my foundation. I feel like I don't need that when I use that. So I will do my face and then I'm gonna see if I need to add any more of that. But I'll be honest, with Sunshine State, this adds so much glow in this area, you probably won't need to use actual glow illuminator with your bronzer. I feel like you're gonna get enough shimmer on its own. Let me show you more of Sunshine State and do some swatches so we kind of know the general inspiration color for our look. So this is Sunshine State, okay? It is limited edition. It is for this month only or while supplies last. Let's hope it hasn't sold out by the time I post this. Okay, so if you look at it, even on the website, it looks kind of dark. It looks almost like a fuchsia, and that's when the light's not reflected, okay? And then you'll look, and this one has got a lot of gold shimmer. Now, this is the most shimmery lip and cheek we've ever had, okay? It's almost like that duochrome, any kind of duochrome kind of finish. I mean, from eyeshadow, lip and cheek, anything. Okay, so I'm gonna do a light swatch and you'll see how sheer it is, okay? Again, our tints are deceiving. So very sheer, but can you see that gold? I mean, this one is so much more shimmery than La Cienega, which I'll compare in a second. That was my #1 question in my DMs is, how does it compare to La Cienega? When La Cienega came out, I was like, oh man, it is like a more pigmented version of Sunshine State, but not as shimmery. But it was the closest we had ever had to Sunshine State, to be honest. That's a permanent shade. So if you swatch it heavily, which when you're applying to the lips is a lot easier to do, it can be harder to apply this one super heavy on the cheeks because it's a gloss. And you guys know our glosses, most of them tend to be more sheer and they can be more sticky if you're applying them really heavy on the cheeks. You could get your hair stuck in them and that kind of stuff. So I know a lot of people don't like that. I tend to usually apply a color with a lot of pigment and then I'll put this on for the glow, and it's literally my favorite. I will wear this every day for the rest of the month just because I can. So when it's swatched heavier, I still wasn't swatching that very heavy. You can start seeing that underlying pink fuchsia pigment. Do you see that? And it looks more like it does in the 10, but it's still, you're not gonna get it to look that dark in my opinion. So I'll show you in a little bit when we get to lips. It is one of my favorite, like throw on the lips, good to go, don't need a liner. It just is like the perfect like summery gloss with that gold in it. Oh my gosh, it is so my favorite. Okay, so La Cienega, which is this one with the huge hole in it because it has been my favorite since it released, is much more pink, is much more in that kind of pinky coral category. And you see how it doesn't look nearly as shimmery. Now it does have similar gold sparkle in it. It just doesn't have as much. So I feel like this has more pigment, this has more gold. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else similar besides that. And really, we don't have anything else remotely. I don't feel like we have anything else remotely similar. We don't have anything as sheer, or I mean, we have some sheer shades, like Carousel's very sheer, but it has like, it compared to this, it almost looks like it has no shimmer. Even though it does, it's not the same kind of shimmer. So this is definitely a more shimmery shade, okay? Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, ooh, can I wear shimmers if I have a lot of like really mature skin or anything like that? You totally can. I would say just don't apply your blush too high to where it gets in. I mean, most people have pretty, I almost said flat skin, but this isn't a huge texture area. Now, it is a shimmer though, so know that any shimmer is gonna reflect light and is going to increase the look of texture. So if you do have a whole lot of texture and you're like, I don't like the glosses on my cheeks, Sarah, I know you love them, but they're not for me, this could be your favorite lip topper shade, okay? And so I also was asked, what does it look good over? Because I said it's my favorite topper of all time. Like I said, I tend to like put a matte on my cheeks for pigmentation because our satins, our satin formulations are usually the most pigmented, have the best staying power in my opinion, because you can apply more of them without ever feeling sticky, and then you can just use very little of the gloss over it. And you guys, it literally makes every shade have that glow. It is so good. So that was Madrid. Let's just see what else I have in my palette here. That's like a very heavy swatch of Dahlia. Okay, it will just give anything that shimmer. And obviously, depending on how similar it is, will depend on how much you can see the gold, you know what I mean? Because if it's, oh, that's so pretty. There is Saint Tropez with it over it. Okay, so it's just gonna add, I feel like you can control the shimmer more so with this one than like La Cienega, since it's kind of mixed in, it's already a glossy shade. You can't really wear that and build up the glow. You're gonna be adding more glow. This one, you can really get whatever pigmentation you want and then add as much or as little glow you want over it to kind of control that. So I feel like you do have more options, especially if you're brand new to kind of doing the layering or using some kind of glossy shade. That's a really good option to do. Okay, I'm going to, let's see, I'm gonna try swatch something not in the pink family, because I know so many people probably wanna see it over something different. Like, let's try it. Oh my gosh, that's it over nude. How pretty is that? Okay, so again, it looks good over everything. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to choose what exactly I'm gonna wear, but favorite for sure. All right, let's go ahead and get started with my face so we can kind of figure out what kind of look we want with this bad boy. All right, so I already told you I started with golden hour. That's the only thing I have on my skin. I just fused my lashes. Let's see if I can get off all of this on my fingers. I'm gonna have sparkles everywhere. Okay, so prime the eyes, and we're gonna do a full face. And I'll be honest, I tend to be one of those people that wear a lot less makeup in the summer, and I know I'm not alone. So let's try to do a really natural, easy summertime look, but glowy. I don't know how you can make a look with this that's not glowy, right? My redness isn't horrible today, probably because I've been using a new serum for redness. I will keep you guys updated as I use it more to see how it goes, but I feel like it's helping. Last, I still have some breakouts. My broken capillaries obviously aren't gonna go away from that. I still need Magic Mango. So I'm gonna pick up the blend brush. I bet you guys could guess. When I say light coverage, quick and easy, this is really what I've been reaching for lately. If you want a light look, try the blend. Okay, so first I'm gonna hit the darkest points of my face. That would be my nose, my broken capillaries, and my whole nose is darker than everywhere else. Okay, then my under eyes, inside corners. Get rid of that blue and purple. Even out my lids. And then we analyze what else is dark. I just shaved my face yesterday, so I got a little bit of irritation from using a new razor. I'm gonna show you how very little I am when I pick up product, that's all. Okay, and then I am buffing it in to each area. And you can't even really see where I've touched my face. That's how very little I'm using. Okay, so I just hit those darkest points. You can see all those kind of red marks are already gone. I'm gonna hit, I didn't do my entire under eye, I just did the inside corner. So I'm gonna use, again, very little. A little bit more right where I have that dark spot. And any hyperpigmentation spots as well. Okay, moving on. Chin, I need it on my entire chin, where it's darkest. Got a little bit of breakouts. I'm using as little as possible that will even that area out without it pulling it so dark that I have to really layer on a bunch of my main shade to get it to go back to matching. Does that make sense? So using the pressure of my brush, the dense end, so that I don't have to use as much. This end will pick up so very little. It's great for kind of a wash, but when I'm not doing it over a large area and I'm just like kind of more strategically getting it right on that area, I'm just gonna kind of do this press and flicking motion to kind of blend it in as I go. and make sure I just hit all the darkest points so that it lasts all day. And then as I like kind of cover, if you will, each dark point, it almost kind of like shows me, and I just kind of move on. I'm like, okay, do I have any other at that depth? And they kind of stick out as I'm covering each one. Does that make sense? So I'm not applying it everywhere. If I have a general redness, I want to kind of hit that entire area, since this color corrects and my main shade does not. Otherwise, my redness will show through my main shade over time throughout the day. One thing I did not realize when I got my cat is how much cat hair flies. Cat hair and creams don't mix very well, but that's okay. I wouldn't give him up for the world. My lips are super dry. So lip conditioner. All right, now I am already ready to go in with my main shade. Now I'm gonna use the big end and I'm gonna apply literally as little as possible, okay? I'm just tapping in and using very little pressure to touch the cream, because this brush won't pick up much product unless you're swiping into it, and then anything will. So I'm gonna kind of swirl along the jawline, which is about the only place on my face that I didn't apply very much. And then I kind of tap. And it's hard to tell on my skin like where I actually applied my color corrector, because I blend as I go, and I want it to melt into my skin and not show. So I can't see it, right? So I do have to kind of apply this all over to make sure I don't miss any spots that would kind of show through during the day. So very light hand, just gonna kind of gently tap it, distribute it. And this is just evening my skin tone. Now, if you don't have issues in your contour areas like I do, you don't have to apply your highlights there at all. I tend to skip my entire forehead. I've got a little bit of hyperpigmentation up there, but it doesn't bother me, and it's not something that when I contour shows through my contour drastically, so I leave it alone. I just don't put any highlight there, and that's just where I put my contour. But this area, I can't really do that. I've got a lot of redness and hyperpigmentation through there. I'm gonna kind of even it out first. So if you have blemishes along your contour, if you're super red, all those things, then I would recommend color correcting, making sure it's kind of evened out, nice blank canvas, and then you can contour easily over that and get better coverage. So once I get to this area, I'm gonna switch back to the dense side so I can get up to the around my eyes and just kind of press that on. I try to not go all the way up to my lash line, but just kind of hit this orbital bone area and then inside corner. And then again, my nose is the darkest part of my face. It also tends to be the one area of people's face that kind of wears off during the day, especially in summer when we have our sunglasses on or we're wiping sweat off of our face, all those things. So I tend to put more on my nose, again, just so it is fully covered and doesn't wipe off as easily. If you have the wrong shade, it will wipe off no matter what. So if I was just using Sandy on my nose, you saw how dark my nose started as. If I was just to put Sandy, which is my main shade, on my nose, it would wipe off like if I touched it at all. But now that I've color corrected first, it won't. I can wear my sunglasses. It doesn't like stick to my sunglasses or anything like that. And even as I sweat, this makeup actually holds up super well through workouts and sweating. But there are key tips and tricks that can help in the humidity as well. I have a hack over on Instagram. I'll link it down below. Using a primer and a powder that has helped a lot of people. If you are super oily or if you live in a very humid climate and you're having issues with your makeup sweating off, it can be a game changer. All right, we are very evened out, nice and glowy. Still looking a little heavy for me. I've got good coverage, but I will definitely take off a lot when we get to the perfector step. So it is more summery and very natural. But for now, I'm gonna attempt, guys. I'm gonna attempt. And if you've been around here for a long time, you know my contour has gotten stronger and more defined as the years go by. I can't believe this is June. This is actually my anniversary month as becoming an artist, and it's gonna be 5 years. I should put in my before and after. My first attempt contouring. This is why I always tell people that contouring just takes time. You'll get more comfortable with it. You'll get better at it, and you will learn to love contour even more the more you use it, because you couldn't even tell I wore contour in my first picture. And now I like it really chiseled. So I'm gonna attempt to do a very natural contour. So you can tell now that I have gotten rid of my hyperpigmentation is literally right in my contour line. So sometimes it looks like I've contoured, because you can kind of still see it here, when I haven't yet. So it can be really hard for me to lightly contour, but I'm gonna try. And this side looks nice and even. Let's see if I can just barely pop those cheekbones. You guys think I can do it? Okay, detail brush all the way. I was gonna even try to use a different brush, but let's be honest. I never like my contour if I don't use the detail brush. I mean, after years of experimenting with this makeup, I know what works, and it's this brush. So I'm gonna just pounce, pounce, pounce lightly so I don't get too much. That might be too much. I'm gonna pounce on my towel real quick. Okay, so let's just kind of look for that cheekbone and do this method where we barely touch. We're gonna cup that cheekbone, and all we're gonna do is press. I'm gonna kind of press upward. It's naturally gonna kind of blend inward, but I only pressed it from about the top of the ear to corner of the eye, like I was going towards the side of my mouth. Okay, so we're not moving that color corrector underneath. We're just barely gently tapping, not using a lot of pressure. There you go. I think that looks natural. For some people, this might be defined, but for me, personally, that's very natural. Okay, and if it gets to where you need to kind of blur out any lines, just kind of tap back in with your highlight brush. That's natural, for sure. Okay, let's see if I can replicate it. Tap, tap, tap. Tap on the towel. When in doubt, do the exact same thing. Okay, so we're gonna go cup that cheekbone. We're just tapping along the line. We start tapping upwards. I feel like I got more on my brush this time. These hairs, I swear. There we go. Okay, so if you feel like it's a little uneven, try to flick a little bit more or use the brush. feel like I got too much right there. So I'm actually gonna take the brush and just barely tap into my main shade just to kind of blur that. You see that? Not take it away completely, just blur lines. And this brush is one of the softest, most least dense brushes. So you can really make sure that top of the contour line is nice and diffused upwards. Okay, so I think I did better on the other side, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, since I don't have any contour on my forehead, I'm not gonna be quite as natural there. I feel like the cheekbones are what people are like, oh, I have a stripe on my face, or I blended it all out and I can't see it. Foreheads are more like just defining the forehead. It can make it smaller if you really want to apply a lot, but I didn't put anything here, so I have no coverage right there. Okay, and you can kind of see where my hyperpigmentation stops, and yet my skin gets lighter before it even reaches my scalp where I don't have hyperpigmentation. So my contour will help kind of blur that, because I always blend into my scalp. And I mean, it doesn't erase it, but it does help the situation. So I'm just gonna kind of push up into the scalp, pull down on the forehead, because we don't want a defined contour on the forehead. And there we go. See how it just kind of frames? Okay, if you want a very bronzy look, so that was Astoria. If you want a super bronzy look for summer, use a little indigo. Let's see if you can see a difference if I use a little. Sometimes I just use a little bit to give that bronzy look. So indigo is this one, and it is much more of that warm undertoned. It'll give you that bronze look. It's super pretty. Okay. Sometimes I just go like this. Dip into both. All right, so under the jaw, blend down the neck. Okay, for an easy summer look, I usually don't nose contour, I'll be honest. But if I am going to do it as easy as possible, just tap in with your finger, rub your fingers together. Man, I got way too much, I can tell. Okay, just a little bit, just a really quick. Not too dark. Put the extra under your lip. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna use just a touch of brightener. Again, I don't feel like you need a whole lot. If you're wanting to build up coverage anywhere you brighten, that's a different story. Then you can apply a little bit heavier and then pull off excess with the perfector. But for me, since I did put a little nose contour on, I am gonna go right there on the side of my nose, because the side of my nose is naturally darker. Okay, do you see that? So I got a little bit there, and then I kind of just hit this part right here where I need a little bit more coverage, and I'm gonna just tap it right there where I have hyperpigmentation. Okay, so not all the way up to the lash line, avoiding where I have texture, but really still giving kind of that pop right here next to the nose is all you need for that brightening effect, okay? Doesn't take a whole lot of product. So again, I'm gonna use the blend brush, so it forces me to use as little as possible. The other day, I was like, let's see if I can not perfect. And I was in a hotel bathroom, horrible lighting, And I will never forget. And then I got to where I was going in their bright lit bathroom, and I was so cakey. Just right here. This is why mirrors are so important. Natural daylight mirrors, and just using the perfector everywhere when in doubt. Oh my gosh, I was so cakey through here. And cakiness is all just too light of a shade or not using your perfector. That's all it is. And I was so mad at myself. Anyway, so keep it light-handed and still use the perfector, and you will be golden. Center of the face, I tend to put the least amount right here between my brows because that also is a texture area. Use a little bit right down those stripes. My gosh, I swear I can't ever get that straight. Use your finger to kind of tap it out. And finally, we're at the perfector stage. All right, so this bad boy's been drying down this whole time after I prepped it perfectly. So now it is, oh, it's so good. This is my problem. Usually if I'm in a hotel getting ready, I don't have a very long time. Like I'm usually just, let's just do the fastest face we can. And if I don't have my towels I have here, hotel towels are the worst. And I don't have enough time to let this dry down. It's never perfect. Guys, I'm like weird about my perfector sponge. Now that I know how to use it just right, if it's not just right, I get upset. Okay, so I'm perfected. I got no creasing. I'm gonna go ahead and set that in place with my powder before I talk too much or blink too much and it creases again. So I'm just gonna touch my powder and just lightly tap on the entire under eye, this entire triangle. And that's enough for the entire area. Then I'm gonna kind of swipe and use it on my lids to set that area so that I can get a nice eyeshadow blend. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of hit side of my nose, between my brows, anywhere you maybe got blemish coverage or you want to stay a little bit less dewy, especially because we're gonna go for ultimate glow on our cheeks, baby. Time for our lip and cheek. Now I have to decide what I'm gonna use. Oh guys, it's so hard. Okay. I'm gonna use a matte as a base to kind of get that pigment. And then we'll use something over it, but what? So what did I show here? I've got Madrid. I feel like Madrid with that over it is so similar in tone to La Cienega, just less shimmery because you're doing it separately. I really think even that nude is super pretty. Or if you're a fan of Hollywood and you're like, I wish I had more shimmer, you could put that over it. I mean, you can put it over a gloss too, especially the more pigmented glosses we have, like Venice or Ruby, which are super pigmented, and Pop, those are very pigmented. So I'm just trying to think of something different. Let's try some shades I don't really wear very often. How about that? Okay, we're gonna mix some, okay? So Frenchie on me, I feel like would look really pretty with this combo. It's very natural on my cheeks. It gives me a very natural look. Baby Watermelon is a very cool pink, so I usually don't gravitate towards it because it's cool, and I look better in warm tones. So I don't know if I've ever mixed these two. we're gonna mix them and then we're going to top them. So let's go for, let's see, I don't know, maybe, when in doubt, you can always do this. Dab, dab, get them on your fingers. Let's see, where do I have room? You can always mix them on your, like together, and see kind of what color is gonna show up. Is that different enough? What do you guys think? You like that combo? I think it's pretty. It looks very, let's see. It's time to take the bracelets off, Sarah. As they were cutting off my circulation. Okay, so there's Frenchie. There's Baby Watermelon. I don't know, I feel like they look, it's a pretty color, but it didn't change it much. It didn't change it much at all. So what would something like Pinky Promise and Frenchie do? Let's try it, shall we? This is much cooler. Can you tell? You can probably tell. So Pinky Promise, Frenchie. Look how similar those two are. Two mixtures. You see, adding something, even though this one is much cooler than Baby Watermelon, they still have the same undertones. Gosh, those look so similar. Okay, nope, next. There's another shade I don't wear very often. I don't wear Cindy very often. Now, Cindy and Frenchie, I think, they're too similar. Don't you guys? Cindy is almost like glossy version of Hollywood without the shimmer. Maybe a little bit lighter. We're experimenting. Reminds me of Saint Tropez, just a touch darker, which was up here. All right, let's go with something darker with Frenchie. How about Ruby? All right, so there's a lot different, way different. Okay, remember, Ruby is one of our most pigmented shades. So if you do mix, you gotta be a little bit mindful that it's very pigmented. It's really pretty though. I feel like that looks like Madrid, doesn't it? No, Madrid is warmer. So that's a pretty combo. It's a little bit, it kind of looks a little bit fuchsia, doesn't it? Okay, we're gonna go with that. I don't think I've ever mixed these two before. Frenchie and Ruby, now that I'm all swatched up. Okay, we're gonna mix those two. Now, like I said, okay, Frenchie's really creamy, so I feel like it picks up really easily on the brush. And since this one is very pigmented, you can do this a few different ways. You can either do like I did and mix it like straight on the back of your hand. Since most people don't have like a makeup palette, like a metal palette to mix things on, you can mix it on the back of the hand and then use your blush brush and pick it up straight from the brush. That way you have the mixture exactly the way you like it. Or you can just simply dab, and go straight to the face. Kind of depends. Usually when I'm using a really pigmented shade like this, if you don't want to have to do this motion in order to blend it out, it can be harder to use that method. So if you're like me and you just covered a bunch of dark spots and redness and you can't really blend your blush like that, I always press on my blush because I just color corrected that whole area. So I am going to do like I just said, and I'm going to put a good amount on my hand and mix it until I like the color. Such a pretty color. It looks about the same. This way you can kind of easily adjust it. Be like, no, that's too light, that's too dark. Super pretty. And then we're just gonna go dab. And then we're gonna go to outside apple of the cheek. And Ruby is one of those super pigmented shades. Even though it's a gloss, it's like a gloss that doesn't obey the rules of that our glosses are usually more sheer. That's a really pretty summer shade, right? And I feel like it still is very tied in with what I'm wearing. And I know for a fact, Sunshine State's gonna look amazing over it because I feel like this kind of looks like the same general undertone that this shade is a little bit. I think it'll be pretty. Like I said, it doesn't look bad over anything. Okay, so remember our blushes die down about after 5 minutes. So if you like a little bit more of a bold blush, apply it heavier or wait for it to die down, then look and see if you need more. Just kind of leave it on the back of your hand till you're ready. Okay. So looking at that, before I top it, I'm gonna see if I need any bronzer. I really don't feel like I need too much, but since we are going for a summer bronzy glowy look, you can still use it. I'm not gonna use glow because I'm gonna add that glow to my cheeks. If you want the glow everywhere, go for it, and you can still do the swirly method into Bella and Glow Illuminator. If you feel like you need more color, then you can use that Heat Waves. I'm just going to kind of tap in to just my Bella this time. And hit those high points. Let's go ahead and top it with Sunshine State. So when I'm using as a topper shade, I just kind of build it up. So I'm just gonna do a couple of taps and I'm gonna just press it on and then I'm gonna see if that's enough. Can you guys see that glow? You'll really be able to see it in probably pictures when my gosh, there's nothing like it. It's so pretty. I feel like you don't need much. When you've got pigment already down, you're not gonna need much at all. Just wakes up your face. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, same thing goes with lips. I'm gonna go ahead and line them with my contour shade and see if I can get enough off of my hand to use the same color. All right, now that I am literally a mess, that's what towels are for. See how different it looks on the lips? It almost looks a little bit lighter. I swear it was about the same. So pretty though. Okay, this color is bomb on the lips. You see that glow? Okay, you can apply it however you want. If you press it on, you're really gonna see a lot more. But this color is even amazing without anything under it. So pretty. All right, so I filled in my brows, the line brush, Trust eyeshadow. Let's do a really quick eye look. I'll be honest, I'm like so super glowy, but I feel like my eyes look very naked when I've got this much blush on, okay? Because that There's a lot of pigment. I mean, I put it on pretty heavy. I know it'll kind of die down still a little bit, but alas, I wanted to show you guys that color. And summer always makes me think of two eyeshadows in this color family. I'll be honest, every time I travel, they're always in my choices of eyeshadows. And let me see if I can swatch it on this side. That would be Crush, which, I mean, do you see why that reminds me? It's like the Frenchy version of eyeshadow with that slight shimmer. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And Twanda, which is a color that scares people because it looks very pink, but it's probably, if I had to pick one eyeshadow, it would be my favorite. It's that, can look barely pink. It just reminds me of this one. It looks very pink and pigmented in the tin, right? It looks so pink, especially online. And then it has that duochrome, just like Sunshine State. And when you swatch it heavy, where did I swatch? You swatch it heavy, it can pull pink. You swatch it lightly, it shows that shimmer, and it looks like a rose gold shimmer. Do you see that? It is like Sunshine State in an eyeshadow form, and it is probably my all-time favorite eyeshadow because you can wear it heavier pink on the lid. I'll be honest, I don't very often. I usually put it over other colors or just lightly dust it on the lid just to get that touch of shimmer. It's the prettiest duochrome. Obviously, I have a thing for duochrome, but I know you guys do too because I know so many of you guys are obsessed with that shade because I talk about it all the time. So I'm going to show you probably one of my go-to looks. I'm sure I've shown it before on here, but I'm going to show you guys if I was doing a look like this, this is what I would go for. So I feel like the pink plus the gold shimmer, it makes this a slightly warm shade, even though that pink is a little cool when swatched heavily, but you could totally put this over a cool shade to kind of warm it up. You could use it by itself or use it over a warm shade to just add that gold shimmer to anything, kind of like the lip and cheek. I'm going to do a very natural looking eye, and then I'm gonna add it just to give it more of a pop. So usually when I do a natural eye, I pick two shades, Bubba or Sedona, and then my magic eraser shade, which is Chai, and I can just use that on the lid real quick just to even out, make sure my lids are fully set and none of those creams are gonna crease. Then I tend to go with Bubba. It is a 4 shade. High up on my crease to kind of carve out the eye. And depending on the day and how in depth I want to go or how lazy I am, to be honest, I'll just stop with that color and then just throw a color on the lid for some shimmer, and that's like a go-to eyeshadow look for me in the summer. So when I want a little bit more of a pop, all I do is grab a touch of that Sedona and go into my actual crease right there. You see how much depth that just added? It suddenly like carves out my eye even more, and then you can go to that outer corner. And these two are like in the same color family. You can tell this one's just lighter and this one's darker. So Bubba's a 4, Sedona's like a 4-5. I wear them both interchangeably, but they are for sure my go-to crease colors on the daily. Okay, so we've lifted that eye. We're kind of disguising that hood by going up above the hood with your eyes open. Make sure you can see that you actually put eyeshadow on, unlike this side. And then I tend to do the same thing with my lower lash line. It takes me 2 seconds. I just go all the way across with Bubba, which is very subtle. You can barely even tell I did it. And then Sedona just on the outer half. So it kind of still defines my eye, but it's not so harsh all the way across. And I've just got a little bit of definition. So that is like, this right here with Chai on the lid is lazy girl summer eye right there. Sometimes I'll throw a little bit of Sabrina in the inside corner or a little bit lightly dusted on the lid to kind of brighten it up. But this is actually, I think, Drift. Sorry, not Sabrina. They are pretty interchangeable though, in my opinion. So a little bit under the brow. Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's very natural. It completes the look though. I feel like this side looks like it's missing something, and then I look complete on the other side, even though I can do that eye in about a minute, or I've done it a million times. So if I was ready to kind of step it up a notch, I literally, since I already put Chai on the lid, I could just do Twanda on the lid. So I'm gonna use just the same brush. I'm using one brush for this whole look, and I'm just gonna kind of get it on one side of the brush so it's not heavy, tap off excess, and then I'm just gonna kind of dust that on the lid. Can you see the shimmer that's appearing? Like, it's very subtle, yet it hits that light. You don't need much. I'm just gonna run that across that lid space. That's it. Easy peasy. If you need help blending, go back to that Chai. Blend if needed. If you want more definition, you can go into Sedona, add a little bit more at the outer corner. It's really easy to go from day to night too. During the day, I wouldn't apply any eyeliner. I probably will just put a little bit of mascara on the bottom lashes. But for nighttime, I'd probably go ahead and pick up the smudge brush, and I'd go either right back into Sedona and really build up that color on the outer corner. Add a little Black Friday, top it with kohl for eyeliner, and I would go from day to night. Probably just reapply my lipstick, add a little bit more blush on the cheeks, and I'll be golden. If you are like Sarah, I am very anti-warm. I would say try the same look. You can use Basic in place of Bubba and Oak in place of Sedona. Both of those are cool. You could also use something like Oak and Bird. Bird is a little bit warmer, but not. It's more of like that olivey undertone. So something like that would also give you a similar look, but not warm. And then for Crush, I do the exact same look, and I just take my finger and I usually just press a little bit of Crush on the lid so it's a little bit more pigmented and I can see that shimmer. All right, last but not least, try to lock and load it, depending on your preference. If you want even more glow, use the Seint setting spray. So our setting spray does give a dewy finish. If you want a little bit more matte, you can always use our setting spray and then take a loose powder to those areas that you don't want to be shiny or dewy or get oily during the day. You can get a little bit more oil absorption, more staying power that way, or use something more formulated for matte. So they do have matte matte setting sprays on the market designed for more oily prone skin. You could totally use that powder anywhere you didn't apply your glow screen, for example, but there you go. There's the glowy, dewy look. Summery, easy eye. Oh, that Sunshine State. Try to replicate that glow. So good. So there you go. That is all of the color combinations for this summer look. Gosh, look at my bracelet. My bracelet just got completely covered in lip and cheek. It's now pink. It's pink. That's okay. I'll wash it. All right, so there's our summer. Get ready with me. I hope that was helpful. If you're needing help with your Seint 3D foundation, if you're needing a color match, if your skin has changed and you are needing a new match for summer, I can help you out with that. My color match request is in the link in the drop box down below the video. You can tell me what colors you're previously wearing. I can tell you how you kind of adjust and keep those colors and adjust them in any way, or if you need to shade up, all of those things. Or if you're brand new to Seint 3D foundation, I can help pick out your colors that will best suit you or your preferences and get you started. As always, if you need anything or have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.